No,
Please,
no,
you
that
have,
was so
once we are going to
motivational for
live
me,
to the participant.
that was so
Yeah,
motivational for me. I was feeling so good, to be here. Thank you very much for the kind words, sir.
yeah, let's go live, please. Yes, Professor Sarwat, now you can start,
Ji,
please.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome. I'm Sarwat Hussain. I'm a radiologist who has worked in Pakistan, UK, USA, Middle East, and chaired a few departments at the Aga Khan in the Middle East and in the USA. Been involved in radiology teaching and currently writing a textbook of radiology for the low and middle income countries, hoping to motivate our professors in Pakistan to write their own textbooks and stop reading books from the Western authors who frequently either ignore or do not pay enough emphasis on the diseases and health problems of the low and middle income countries. And we try to emulate the Western model of healthcare delivery and miserably fail because we spend all our money on a few centers of excellence, leaving 80%, 90% of our population uncovered from the healthcare because all the money is spent for the few elite centers. Besides that, it gives me a great pleasure and honor. First of all, with gratefulness to Mr. Uzair Bhai. And Syed Uzair is a diamond miner who mines and brings out the best of Pakistani intelligentsia and Pakistani businesses and thought leaders. One of them is Mr. Irfan Malik, who is a founder and CEO of Xeven Solutions. He is an entrepreneur. He is a charity worker, motivator, and I listened to some of his webinar on AI, artificial intelligence, and it's amazing how he can explain complex concepts in artificial intelligence that would be understandable to even the policemen or of Pakistan. Not that the policemen do not understand anything, but on the current policemen is a different breed. Mr. Irfan Malik has given of himself in teaching so many youngsters in artificial intelligence so that they can become self-sufficient, not only in the knowledge, but also economically. But his work, it does not stop at giving freely, but he runs an exceptionally successful company, Xeven Solutions, which is a company of AI development and solutions. I would urge everyone to go and visit his website, and it is very enlightening. He has successfully created a company of 150 employees and who have done a great business and increased the size of their recurrent revenue by 6 times, 603% over the last year. And they have the customer retention is 6.34 times over the last year, with a revenue of 17.08 million, and you can calculate rupees at your own peril, if you will. Before I hand over to Mr. Irfan Malik, who I'm extremely motivated by him, his personality, his persona, his giving nature, his humility despite being CEO of such a big company. Before I give it to him, I'm going to introduce also Dr. Nasiruddin Mahmood, who is a colleague of mine from Aga Khan University, who has also done a great job in providing and saving lives of children in Pakistan which has created the emergency departments for taking care of the children in Pakistan, child life in several places, and he has given of himself again, like Mr. Irfan Malik, but in a different arena. So I'm going to hand over to Mr. Irfan Malik, unless Mr. Uzair, Dr. Uzair, or Dr. Nasir have any comments before Mr. Irfan Malik.
I think we to just to save the time, over to Mr. Irfan Malik straight, please. Yeah, Irfan, yours.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum everyone, and thank you very much for the kind introduction. It was motivational for me. Actually, I'm not a motivational speaker, but that introduction was truly motivational for me, and I'm honored to be here today. You know, starting my journey, if I look back, few years ago, I would call it few years ago, I was a computer typist in medical college, from where I started my journey. It was not tech, it was nothing. I was in Qaid-e-Azam Medical College, working on a daily wages as a computer typist. This was the starting point. This was the point when I started to see healthcare closely. I was not in tech. I was BSc mathematics. From there, I started to develop, building my interest in technology. I wasn't able to afford university, so I had to done my master in information technology from Virtual University of Pakistan. Then I started doing jobs here and there, multiple different job, laborious job. Eventually, I was able to get an internship in a software house. From that internship today here, it was a kind of a journey. Learned a lot. And from that internship to computer typist to internship, and then to the CEO of a company and data scientist, I learned just one thing, that, you know, what you can do is to just work hard, give your best, be true, and then everything will come into the place. There was no magic. There was nothing special. So when I realized the fact that everything we have, whatever I have today, is because of Allah, and then I have to give it back. I started my journey to give it back to the community approximately years ago. In my one batch, I have kind of empowered many students, thousands of students in AI, because what I'm seeing in AI as a frontline person, because I'm in touch with multiple clients, reading articles. I am still taking many courses from MIT, Stanford, just seeing where the technology is going. I've been visiting the world's biggest exhibition, tech exhibition. What is happening in the world and what is happening here in Pakistan, it's kind of poles apart. So I had to play my role. I'm just playing my role. This is not my business. This is kind of a part-time thing. My business is technology. I've established software house. Just to tell you guys, I have done freelancing, and I am the top 3 freelancer in the world. I'm in top 3. You can max top 5. I don't know when the figure has changed. Top 1 in Pakistan by making $2.2 million out of just single platform. And primarily 80% of my work is in healthcare, because when I was a computer typist in Qaid-e-Azam Medical College, I was able to understand the healthcare a bit better than any other technology member. A brief introduction. I would like to talk about some things that we can do tomorrow. Before this call, I was talking to Dr. Azhar, and I must say that he's so inspirational. When he called me for the first time, like many weeks ago, it was a motivation for me. It was an inspirational that whatever I'm doing is valuable. Maybe he was like top 5% who appreciates me, that whatever we are doing, is being heard. People are getting value, and the people are getting empowered. So it was a kind of a journey for me so far. Let's move to the next point. The point is that what I want to share with all of you, what we can do tomorrow, what we can do today, what an individual can do, what an organization can do in AI, using in healthcare, and how we can move. Talking about AI, I mean, I can talk about next 20 years, next 30 years, next 50 years. It's pretty easy to talk about the things that are not practical, that are not in implementation, the things you cannot see. But we are talking about the capacity building. We are talking about how AI can empower an individual. I would like to start that how AI can empower individual. because I'm receiving so many queries that as a medical professional, what should I do? I'm unable to run my kitchen. I mean, this is very unfortunate in Pakistan. I'm receiving such queries that I'm unable to do anything in healthcare as a medical professional. What I can do in technology, how AI can help me. AI is changing rapidly. I'll be very clear about that. And what is happening in the world, I would like to see a certain presentation with you guys as well to show you something. That what AI is going to do, we are left with, particularly healthcare professionals are left with two options. They just sit and watch how AI is going to replace them, or maybe they adopt AI today. They can do it today and become powerful and 10 times more productive. 10 times is the minimum thing I'm saying, the 10 times more productive than what anybody is doing nowadays. So I'll share something with you guys and I'll show you how AI can actually do the magic. So I'll just quickly skip this. That was the current stats I was seeing in the Pakistan. Pakistan shares like 0.1 of the global clinical trials. And I created a software few months ago connected with the PubMed, and I will share shortly that how we are, affecting the clinical trial and how we are accelerating the clinical trial process. The biggest challenge we face in Pakistan is lack of research infrastructure for tech innovation. Not just lack of research and infrastructure, but on top of it, the adaptability, the understanding of the AI. I was implementing an HIMS in a hospital in Bahawalpur, and there was
Sorry,
so much.
Irfan, your screen is not visible. Sorry, your screen is not visible, your slide.
Okay, then I think let me fix that part. Actually, I can see all of you. Maybe I have to stop sharing. Is it visible now?
No, please share your entire screen.
I'm sharing my desktop. Actually, my screen should be visible. Can you see me now?
Yes,
It's
perfect.
You can see both of you, right?
yes.
Okay, perfect. So the issue is lack of research infrastructure for IT and innovation and standardization, of course. I was trying to implement an AI-based HIMS in a hospital, and after 8 months of struggle, I couldn't achieve anything. Technical infrastructure was correct. Artificial intelligence was doing its magic. LLMs were implemented, deep learning were implemented, diagnoses were perfect, but we literally couldn't implement it. We cannot do that. We couldn't do that because of the adaptability. I had to buy that hospital. I had to establish my own team to create something innovative in Pakistan because nobody was complying. They were not even able to comply because they feel like the AI is going against them, which is absolutely wrong. I'll just move on and prove that what anyone can do. So the thing is, the AI will not replace doctor, but it will augment human intelligence, enhancing patient care and ultimately saving life. We will be talking about today about what machine learning is doing in AI, what deep learning is doing in what machine learning is doing in healthcare, what deep learning is doing, how natural language processing is doing things. It's natural language, not neural language processing. Robotic process automation will be talk about just a touch of it. But before that, moving forward, let's talk about healthcare organization and the challenges. I created an HIMS system, as I was talking about, when I was just trying to automate the process, that how HIMS system can make patient journey easier and can reduce the footfall in any organization by maximizing the productivity of the staff. We need to connect the components. I have created a system. I'm quoting my own system that I will show you guys real soon, and in the next slide, and you'll be able to operate it. That when the patient is entering into the hospital, usually patient is telling the name and all that stuff, asking some basic question. We don't need that. There's a camera placed right behind the receptionist, and the camera is detecting the face and telling everything about the patient and reconfiguring the screen right in front of the receptionist. If there is anything to know, maybe from past 1 year, 2 years, the system is giving the information and also the diagnosis and everything, because we have the information and all that stuff. We have the data, but in Pakistan, particularly in health organization, we don't have the systematic data. This is the first challenge I'm going to talk about. We are using so many softwares. I call it legacy software, and we cannot make them productive or AI compatible until we restructure the data and the way we are capturing the data, the way we are storing the data, and the way we are going to use to train all those models by using that data. When we talk about the capacity, when we talk about the productivity, we go for the software, but we don't go the AI compatible software. We need to go towards the AI compatible software. We need to make our software infrastructure AI compatible so that we can leverage the data and we create all the stuff. I created a tiny piece of software that we are going to deploy in London, the bot, where the bot will be talking to the patient. I'm going to give you the link in the comment section if anyone want to try that. Patient will talk to the bot. Bot will answer ask the questions. The bot will receive the vitals, and the bot will give the treatment. I have shared this bot with many healthcare professionals around the world. No one so far, no one couldn't, kind of point any abnormality or any incorrect thing. So I'll be talking along the way, and I'll be talking about the technology. I'll be talking about how this thing is going to work, and I'll be talking about how we can implement it today, tomorrow, and for an individual, for an organization as well. Let me know if you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So let's start from, before moving on, let's start from that, how an individual today, if anyone is listening to me, want to, be productive in the field of healthcare. First, I'm just making a statement here. Everyone should have their own bots. It is pretty easy. It's so easy. You can create your own bot in matter of few hours, and then train your own bot. Your bot will behave and answer the question according to your brain. And why people are unable to do that? Because we are wasting our data. When you are talking to patient, you're wasting your data. When you are writing something on a paper, you're wasting your data. When you are entering something into a legacy system, we are wasting our data. As far as we are doing these three actions, we are going nowhere. We actually cannot do anything. These bots cannot help us at all until we start to learn that how we can protect our data, how we can save and organize our data. We'll talk about it. Now, in the last 6 months, we have different tools in the likes of LangChain, vector databases. We have so much powerful tools that can mimic your brain within an hour. So just imagine the patient is coming to you. Out of 100 patients, you may have to see top 5 or top 6 or 7 patients. Your bot, your personal bot, will answer 90% of the patient. It is happening. It can happen. And then these bots are being connected with our robotics. I was in GITEX. I have seen that robotics were configuring the circuits, the micro level circuits. I've seen that bots in pathology. I have seen the bots doing procedures in real time. We are moving towards 5G. Since we have the information, the textual information from LLM, connecting that information with the bots, this is where either we are going to learn it or the bots are we going to replace it. So this system that I'm going to show you, let me drop a link. I'll drop the link after the demo in the comment section. Anyone can experience it. I'm just going to click on a proceed button. Now, we know that we have certain IoTs in the market at a pretty cheaper cost. Why? To see the patient. We are creating this system because just in UK, there is 7.7 million patients in the queue waiting to see the doctor. 7.7 million. That was the last stats I received. They are unable to see the doctor. They're in the queue. So these are the pods that we're going to install. We'll have all these hardware devices that will collect the vitals. At the moment, I've just hard-coded the vitals to show you guys what AI can do and how AI can build that capacity. This system is being created for an institute But I repeat, I have created my own GPT. I call it Irfan GPT. Whatever I can answer, my GPT can answer. And at the end of this session, I'll give you guys how you can create your GPTs within matter of few hours and how you can collect the data. Let's go through it first. So I'm going to collect the vitals. Actually, I have the vitals at the back end, but here this device will connect the system will connect the device and will receive the vitals. After collecting the vitals, I'll just review everything here and we'll move forward. So the patient will pick the doctor. It could be male or female. These are the bots. So patient is going to click, okay, I'm going to talk to this doctor, Dr. William. So the Dr. William is going to welcome. And now, honestly speaking, we can start conversation. And if anybody want to contribute and drive that conversation with me, he's welcome. Otherwise, I will drive the conversation here. And this is a system that can diagnose up to 99, 98% accuracy. Is anyone who can give me the random question that I should ask to the bot? From the panelists, anything?
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
Sorry, I was. Can you ask any question to the bot to type me in?
Right.
As a patient?
Let's ask.
I'm having a headache and I get up in the morning with nausea.
Okay, I will make spelling mistake as well. So from here onward, that system will drive the conversation.
I'm
And
sorry to hear that you're not feeling well. Could you please tell me your name, age, gender, and occupation? Also, when did these symptoms start?
so I'll say, I'll answer you based on.
I'm 50-year-old. My symptoms started a week ago, and I'm a male patient. I'm slightly diabetic, mildly diabetic, otherwise in good health.
I'm intentionally making mistakes in English and spelling. It won't affect the bot.
Nice to meet you. I'm sorry to hear about your symptoms. Can you describe your headache? Is it constant or does it come and go? Is it in one specific area or all over your head?
Well, the headache is on the right side when I wake up in the morning, and after breakfast, it goes away. It is throbbing in nature. At night, I sleep well, but the headache occurs when I wake up.
I see. That sounds quite uncomfortable. Do you experience any other symptoms along with the headache, such as sensitivity to light or sound, blurred vision, or dizziness?
I actually have a sensitivity to light when the headache is on, only in the right eye on the side of the headache.
I understand. That must be quite distressing. Have you noticed any changes in your sleep patterns or appetite recently?
No, I sleep well.
That's good to hear. Have you experienced any similar headaches in the past?
Yes, 2 years ago, I had this headache for about a month and was relieved by treatment.
Thank you for sharing that information. Do you have any known allergies, particularly to any medications?
No, I don't have any allergies.
The interesting part that I'm going to explain after this. This is.
Thank you for the information. Based on your symptoms, it seems like you might be experiencing cluster headaches. These are severe, one-sided headaches that can occur in clusters, meaning you experience them for weeks followed by a headache-free period. The treatment strategy for cluster headaches involves acute treatments to relieve the pain when you have a headache and preventive treatments too. Avoid future headaches. For acute treatment, you can try inhaling 100% oxygen through a mask, which is a safe method to relieve the pain. For preventive treatment, a medication called verapamil, WH. IC is a calcium channel blocker, is commonly used. Please consult with your local healthcare provider for the prescription and usage of these treatments. Additionally, maintaining a regular sleep schedule and avoiding alcohol during cluster periods can help manage your symptoms.
Astaghfirullah.
Concerns about this?
So what was the feedback?
This is fantastic, amazing. Mainly and I'm thinking of all the knowledge bases it has been tapping on and focusing and excluding irrelevant material and focusing on the diagnosis and then tapping on to the treatments. And this is just outstanding. This is mind-boggling.
Let me explain the magic behind it. This is where I wanted to start the conversation, actually. So now the painful point is, you see the power of the bot, you see the power of the LLMS. Now I'm going to give you some exciting figures, some exciting facts. You know, it hardly took few days. And if I have to create it all over again, it'll hardly take few hours. And I just trained this bot within a week with a limited amount of data that is, a free data that I downloaded from a different websites. I was able to scrap different websites and that's it. And then we have so much of a process where we can implement guardrails, we can implement stages. Now we have the power to implement agents where I can stop the bot, I can tweak the bot, I can manipulate the bot within the session. It was not there 6 months ago. This thing was, almost impossible, and now we have it. Similarly, I have my GPT. So just imagine if we have such a system implemented in hospitals, if we have such a GPT for each practitioner, if we have such GPT for the clinical trials. Now let's talk about clinical trials. According to my understanding, there are approximately 3,000 clinical trials on PubMed website from Pakistan. And what you do, how you do is that there was a person from USA for whom I created a system where I was able to fetch the data from different websites, including PubMed, and then I was creating the article for him. And that article was taking 5 seconds. In 5 seconds, the system were able to read thousands of papers, the real-time website data, the LLMs, GPT-4, and creating a complete paper in like matter of 5 to 10 seconds. This is what's happening. This is how we can speed up the process. And doctor, if doing individual practice, or maybe he or she is doing research, maybe they are going to implement it in hospital. Only these LLMs can do the magic and create that, can enhance that capacity, to unimaginable, level. But the only problem is that we feel like these things are too complicated. The bot that I've just shown you guys is just a few weeks old bot. It's a child, it's a kid. Imagine where I will take that bot in 6 months, 1 year, by working dedicatedly on that bot. And the system I was talking about, HIMS system I was talking about, that the AI is implemented from the first feature to the end feature. So, and the data is coming in our system is so valuable, the gold mine. Let me share some painful point that I see here. I won't be able to name that institute because I'm visiting many institutes and trying to understand their problem, their pain points. What I've seen, our people are using the legacy software. They don't even know where is the data. That the system is in production for many years, maybe 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, but they don't even know where the data is going, what is the data format, who is controlling the data, who is utilizing the data. We don't have control over it. So from an individual level to an organization, the first thing we need to learn today, stop wasting data. And just to advise a few medical practitioners, what you can do today is that whatever you are writing, keep the hard and soft copy of it. Now, GPT can convert the hard copy of your write-up into a text. Save that text. Whatever you are speaking, keep a tiny little mic with you and use that any voice to text software. Keep that mic here in your pocket. When you're speaking to someone, it will convert it into an imperfect text. Give that imperfect text to GPT, and GPT will convert that imperfect text to a valuable information and save it. And then make your own bot in few hours. And let me give you another fact about the bot I'm showing. Maybe most of your people, you will be thinking about that I'm using GPT-4. The use of GPT-4 is less than 20%, maybe 10%. The system I've shown you. There is no GPT-4 actually. The purpose of GPT-4 is to convert my imperfect typing, imperfect questions to a machine and human readable question. That is it, nothing more than this. So this is the power of AI, just a tiny part of AI. I'm talking about LLMs. I'm not even talking about deep learning, where you can see the reports that radiology reports and many other reports that we are seeing on a microscope. We can see it on a 4K LCD. I'm working with some of the startups from USA and UK, where we're going to apply a lot of things in biopsy by using deep learning. Again, what challenges we are facing? Data. What other challenges we are facing? Adaptability and lack of information about AI. The fear of AI, I would say. Just LLM can do the magic, let alone, because if we start talking about the neural network, if we start talking about the deep learning and the robotic, the conversation will go way ahead. But we need to start adopting it today. We need to start understanding it. We need to start, capturing our data and move towards from legacy system to AI compatible system. To summarize my conversation up to this point, our healthcare sector, if we talk about Pakistan, and all the other sector as well, we are AI incompatible. I'm making that statement. We are AI incompatible, mean that if we start moving towards AI, the real AI, because the AI is now moving towards generative AI, if we start moving towards the real AI, it will take like at least 1 decade, because we cannot even do that since we don't have any control whatsoever on our data. If we talk about capacity building or maybe anything else, we actually cannot do that. We may implement some little touch of AI, nothing more than this. Since before, if we go from 1956 to 2000, the AI was like this. If I'm solving any problem, and then I teach AI to solve the same problem by performing same steps in a same sequence, the way I had done it, the AI will do the same, and AI will keep doing that. From 2002 onward, the AI is a different game with the deep learning. Now, AI will do what you cannot do. The AI will do what you cannot even imagine, because now the deep learning and neural networks are so powerful with the help of computational power. So this is how the landscape is rapidly changing. There was a time when we were, perceiving an idea that I am going to develop something tomorrow, and in the next few weeks, I will present it to the investor. Actually, within 48 hours or maximum 24 hours, from somewhere, I'm getting the notification that someone has developed it and launched that idea. This is how the landscape is changing. We are very slow. We are, very resistant. We are very scared of technology at the time when we have to adopt it. to increase our capacity, to increase organizational capacity from anything. I think I can take questions so far, or maybe I should continue. What do you say, Doctor?
Gee, thank you very much indeed. This is so absorbing and so motivating, and that I think we can start having questions now. And what I would request that if I know you're very busy, if it is possible for us to send you written questions for another session where we can learn from you as to how for us to make those bots or sources from where we can actually learn. So my question really is that for me, I'm like, for example, writing a textbook, and I'm working with hundreds of authors and their promises, their data, their follow-up, their chapters, et cetera, and I'm doing this, kind of manually, and I'm ashamed to admit in front of you, I'm kind of doing it manually. How can artificial intelligence help me? I won't take too much time, just one question, but I have thousands of questions that we can do afterwards. Thank you.
See, first, before I dive into that question, I truly understand and I know that I just touched the tiniest part of the AI, and I've shown you the real example, the power of AI that is, before the conversation, as I was talking to Dr. Zair, is that I won't be talking about the fairy tales. I'll be very practical and what we can do tomorrow. So the thing is that if you guys are using GPT, that is absolutely fine. And pardon me if you can repeat your question so that I can precise. I think there is something I'm missing.
The question is how to organize my various dimensions of informations and thoughts at one place by AI.
See, two things. First thing, how you develop that understanding of AI. I always recommend and suggest to all of the non-technical community. There is a technical community who are doing development, and there's a non-technical community who are getting the exposure. So first of all, we need to reorganize our infrastructure, social media, the readings and all that stuff. Once we've done that, so whatever the content you are receiving from GPT, whatever the content you are writing, I would suggest just by hiring any junior developer from any online freelance marketplace, tell him to give you a one-pager portal. That one-pager portal will do this one thing for you. Let me tell you. It will take the PDF, Word, or as a textual information as an input, and will save it on a cloud. Do not save it on your machine. We'll save it on a cloud. Then tell that guy, please make that system organized in a manner that I can always retrieve my data at will. So now what you have is the textual information at one place. Just add a tiny bit of functionality that will take 1 to 2 hours for any developers in the world, that give me the option to export all of my thoughts, my information that I have received from multiple sources, and uploaded it on a cloud, convert it into a PDF and give it to me. You will have it. Once you have it, then you are just 3 to 4 hours away from the bot that you can create, and that bot can do wonders. As I said, we have the data, but we don't have the organized data. We don't have the structured data. We don't have the useful data. So just maintain your own tiny portal to use your data, to store your data, to maintain your data, change your lifestyle a bit, add that tiny mic, convert your voice into text and put it into the cloud. And from that cloud, convert it to PDF, give it to the bot. The bot will start talking the way you have seen. I just, fed few PDF files to that bot. I hope it answers the question.
Yes, it does. One last question. Are you open for me or anyone else to spend 2 weeks in your wherever you work to learn these things that we can do it ourselves? And if there's a fee for it, we'll pay for it, of course.
See, first, let me recommend you something. Honestly speaking, I feel so glad. I sleep well, when I'm able to help someone. I have proved it. People have seen it, what I'm doing. It has nothing to do with the payment because my payment is coming from somewhere else. And I'm pretty glad. When I'm able to help someone, I sleep well. So let me help you guys. First thing first is that, please, I recommend, I insist. I have recorded 26 lecture, 10 to 15 minutes. It's on my YouTube on blockchain. Please do not forget to take the first 10 lectures of that series. That will change your entire perspective, that what AI will do and can do, because I was targeting medical community when I was doing that. And then I am going to actually record few videos. I would request you send me the question and the topic. I will make a playlist and I will hand over you the playlist that, okay, this will help for the people who can, take benefit out of it. And then I can surely give you the time and arrange that workshop where we can sit together and talk in detail about these things, because it was the hardest part of this session was to just, summarize everything in 40, 50 minutes. I was just thinking what to say, what not to say, where to start and all that stuff. So yes, I can do that. Dr. Ozair is in touch with me. He has my number and we can do that. Don't worry about the payment and all that stuff. It's my duty and we'll do that, inshallah.
So this is on YouTube. Your lectures are on YouTube?
Yeah, you just tap Irfan Malik on the YouTube and
Okay.
you go to the blockchain series.
Thank
And
you. We'll
then-
open the question to everybody else now. I will not monopolize on your time.
Sure, please.
Irfan, that's mashallah, very nice presentation. And I just have a question specific to Pakistan. Is there any work happening in terms of making it possible for the local languages to come into the NLP domain?
I've done it already. In Irfan GPT, I've done it. In Irfan GPT, people can talk to me in Urdu. My bot will respond it in Urdu. Now I'm going to do it in 10 different languages for a client in Saudi. I'm going to give him the bot that will operate in 10 different languages. Basically, at the back end, it is not GPT. It is vector DB. It is LangChain. LangChain is something different, So we have done it and we are kind of scaling it. But in Pakistan, for Pakistani, apologies, we are sleeping. So
because
people are doing it.
We run emergency rooms in 3 provinces and Azad Kashmir, and we have a network of telemedicine clinics in 200 locations. Right now we are totally dependent on the human interface. And one of the biggest obstacles is the local language, the local dialect. I mean, at least that's how I have perceived it. That's because the patient cannot communicate with the machine and needs an interface. So, and I think the reason they can't, because there are different dialects and different languages, and so how does one go about, or is somebody already solving that question?
Yes, we are actually, and people are working on it. See, I've created 6 telemedicine systems. I started my journey from telemedicine system. Basically, I believe that I was one of the first, way before COVID, when I launched the telemedicine system. I have 6 different variations, and the Nigerian Air Force and Army are using my systems as well. So basically, what we are doing in AI system, we are adding kind of a first aid type of AI wrapper on top of the conventional telemedicine system. After creating the telemedicine system, multiple telemedicine systems, I realized that the way we are capturing the data is not going to help us at all. We need to make our system self-learning. So the first user will go through the AI layer. The AI layer will establish that understanding between the software and the human interface. So there is a tiny plug and play type of AI layer we are developing, where system will be able to understand their language, system will be able to respond them in their language, system will be able to do the co-pilot type of a thing. But Microsoft had done recently. There was a time when you're going to install a software, you are going to click few things, download the software, click here and there, install, follow 10, 20, 30 steps, and you are installing the software in your machine. Now you won't have to do it. You have the bot. You will talk to the bot just like I did. Hey, bot, can you please install the Microsoft Office in my system? The bot will convert that command into a handler. The handler will download everything and install it for you. Why we cannot do it in telemedicine? The co-pilot is already in the market. Since when we send, by the way, the software I've shown you, you notice that when I'm typing something, the bot is speaking. And when the text is over, the bot is silent. Right? What is happening at the in the back end, text is sending command to the machine and machine is performing the actions. And we can scale it to any level, literally any level in telemedicine. The only thing is that people are not willing to put in that much of effort. Let me share my pain with you guys. I'm working with many healthcare professionals around the world. And now I signed an agreement with the Chughtai lab as well. And now I own my own hospital here. And of course, I'm the chief technical advisor in the Bush International Hospital. There is a one challenge that I'm facing. If you want to truly leverage AI, you have to work as hard as the person you're paying to, the technical person. You'll have to collaborate. You'll be talking like 4 or 5 hours a day sometimes. You'll have to share your thoughts and the brain and make it correct. And it is possible. The only thing is we have some kind of a sate mentality, pardon my language, that we say that, okay, we will pay you this and get this thing done for us. That's it. Trust me, you cannot do that. No one can do this for you. No one can do this. You will ask for apple, you will get orange in return. But if you truly want to get something done, you need to talk to the visionary person in the tech, and then we will be able to create something innovative. What you were saying is absolutely possible if you can put in that level of energy with me.
You have repeatedly said that don't waste data. And basically, a lot of our clinics and hospitals and emergency rooms have data of millions of patient visits. Millions of patient visits. Now that data is digitalized, it is there, but it is probably not amenable to AI.
That's the pain point. That's truly the pain point. I have seen few things that I cannot even talk about on the webinar, honestly speaking. The way what should I say? I can give you an example. There is thing that we can develop in Pakistan by putting in $200. We are getting it developed from somewhere else by paying them $200,000. And then we don't have control over the data. And the way we are storing the data, there are no structure at all. Let's say we have so much of a digital data. When you will hand over that data to a data scientist, to a data mining guy, he will start processing the data. And at the end of the day, we will left with 30 or 40% of the data, nothing more than this. Because we have to reduce the anomalies, noise, and all that stuff. We are not compatible. Most of 98% of our software systems are AI incompatible. Let me give you an example. Imagine you are in a construction and constructing a huge building, a tower. And at the end of the construction, you feel like, okay, I forgot to install the lift. Now I have to install a lift in this tower. What you will have to do? It's not like you do the plug and play. You will have to do so much thing and the tower will not remain the same. This is what's happening with the current legacy softwares. We have to think right now, right here.
Very interesting. Thank you.
So
yeah.
Thank you,
Over to
Irfan.
Dr. Akhtar. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Zaid. As everybody is saying that you're an amazing person and the work you are doing is extraordinary, at least from the clinical point of view. I'm a pediatrician by trade and working in the hospital as a hospitalist and a small clinic. Now I'm come to, because 5-6 years ago, I started training the bot to take history, because here we practice in Canada, we try to take history and fill up the history according to our college guideline. So I worked with one of our University of Ontario Technology, and the amount of work we are doing is humongous as compared to what you are just saying, is that you can train yourself in a week or maybe 2 weeks max. But in terms of having this HIPAA compliance and the other compliances which we work in a Western country, where you have to have these all protective layers. Second, the way you have explained that it can also diagnose, that is a red flag as well in terms of FDA or Health Canada. You cannot get it approved. But before going to that, how one can do the history taking, like sometime as a senior physician, you see the patient, you hear some one-liner, two-liner, we know that this patient has this diagnosis. But to have the compliance, and Dr. Nasir will be, seconding me, that we need to fill up the entire history. So then it will compliance with the college guideline. So how one can, and I'm very enthusiastic to know about this, how one can do this with keeping all the Canadian health system or American health system in mind and coping with them.
Very good question. Very good question. But let me first answer that part where you said that compliance and the FDA approve and all that stuff. Basically, when this system is gonna diagnose something, it will have to be approved by some human doctor. But what we are doing is that we are reducing the workload. We will just put everything in a standard structure. What you have seen so far is a raw interface. So now I'm going to answer your questions. For Canada, for US, for USA, for any other country, we will write a wrappers. We are fetching the raw information and we'll arrange it in a shelf. The shelf will be fully compliant according to that state. When doctor will see, the history will be there actually. The bot will generate the information that you are thinking, but not even asking to the patient, and the patient is not sending it to you, because AI now literally can do that. The only difference is that the same system cannot work in all the countries and all the states. So here is what is going to happen. We're going to, as I said, we're going to draw the the parsers, the upper layer. And if somebody is going to implement it in at the moment we are trying to implement it in UK, and we are working directly with their institutes. So we're going to design a wrapper. This engine will remain the same, what I'm showing you. Yes, and I don't think so there is anything to do with the HIPAA compliance, because HIPAA is primarily about the security, the structure, the standardization, the server. HIPAA, I don't think so there is any issue with the HIPAA, but yes, the other part is there.
So what you're saying is that it's a raw thing, but again, when you are giving a diagnosis, would it not be a challenge to practice this part of the world?
See, it won't. Let me tell you
and adding one more thing. Who on a moral ground or ethical ground would a patient will take this healthcare planning, like you said that, oh, you have this cluster headache and this, who is going to take the consent? Because this is the advice by the AI generated tool. How valid that would be from a human health point of view? The consent.
In the world of AI, two things we have to do. We have to, think ahead, and then we have to take protective measures. What we are doing, what the world is doing today we are talking about consent. Today we are talking about the lethal side of AI. Today we are talking about inaccuracies and risk factor. We are only talking about all these things because AI is new, and the system, the results we are saying, we are not, acclimatized to it. We are not trusting it. Simple. So for now, we're going to sandwich it between the humans. The human will approve, the human will take the consent, the AI will do the rest. If there is anything wrong with any diagnostic, you are going to touch that tiny part. You're going to say, no, this is where you said wrong. In my system, we have a backend admin panel. In admin panel, when this report is being sent, when this diagnosis is the report is being sent to my doctor is seeing the report, and if there is any correction, he's just touching that part, and then that part is going back to the AI brain so that AI don't mix that mistake again. So if the doctor is using the same system for 20 days, one doctor, 20 days, the system won't make that mistake. So if that system is being used by 20 million doctors for like 1 month, we won't be able to, we won't be worrying about this side of the AI at all. The way now we trust smartphone, now we trust online order. We can order iPhone even online. There was a time when people were launching their online e-commerce stores. We always prefer to go and buy it from the store. We develop our trust. So who is the winner? Who will develop the trust? Sooner or later, governments are going to adopt it. Yeah, there will be guidelines. And by the way, when I was explaining the demo, I talked about the guardrails. These are the guardrail component. When I was designing that system, something funny happened. Let me tell you what AI can do. When I was designing that system, upon my first demo, my doctor as a patient came in and asked few questions. 2 questions, and the system predicted everything within the 2 questions. I said, wow, no, come, don't do that. Let force the system to ask more questions. Then I tweaked the guardrails. System started to ask more questions. Even if you want me to, I can take that conversation to 100 questions. These are the guardrails that should be regularized and will be regularized by the authorities. And now in authorities, we lack technical people who actually can view the guardrails and correct the systems. It's going to happen.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Zahid Ali, can you unmute,
Yes.
introduce yourself, and if you have any question, you may ask, or if you have any comment, please go ahead.
Yeah. So my name is Zahid. I'm into healthcare IT for the last 22 years, and so have gone through with all those AI, ChatGPT, and even I deeply understand the healthcare systems. And perhaps I'm one of those guys who are considered to be top in the world, has won many awards in this category. And recently, just a few days back, one of my company is a product that is healthcare operating system, intelligent healthcare operating system, that was nominated as a best digital health solution by Xeven, and this is considered to be equivalent to the Nobel Prize. So, because I am coming from a deep healthcare background, working as a CIO, working as a consultant with top-notch hospitals in the world, so I can relate the question from doctor pretty well. And there are many issues that when we talk about AI that we need to solve. This is a, like I would say playing with fire. If we see the AI would do the diagnosis, AI would do the even treatment. So that obviously do the red flags. So and this had happened maybe even 10 years back when some many online like platforms are available, and people had to put the put the symptoms, and then it would do the diagnosis and even suggest a treatment. But healthcare is a very complex business, very complex. So each specialty has its own content. The way they see the patient is different from the other specialty. So that's a complex nature that we need to still dissect into a smaller pieces of work. And the most appropriately as FDA, because I'm author of a few guidelines with FDA, especially onto the mobile apps and AI as well. So we understand that it's not an easy task to do, and especially if there is some mistake that happens. So who is responsible for that mistake? So from that standpoint, it's still in infancy stage. But we came up with the regulatory stuff, especially that these AI tools can really suggest the diagnosis. They can't maybe do the prediction, because when we go into the prediction, obviously we have to go even to do all the clinical trials, to do the validation and everything. So that's a kind of like a 9 months procedure if we have to do with Health Canada, or maybe even with FDA. So from that standpoint, obviously this is, but the most importantly, there are few touch points that needs to be pretty well sorted out. The first thing, especially that concern of everybody, is about the billing, or how they are making the reimbursement.
I lost Zahid Bhai. Can anyone hear him?
I think some issue with
Yeah, he
the-
has been frozen. So, Irfan, in the meanwhile, can you have a quick look to the QA window and see there are some very small question from the
Yeah,
participant?
let me
Like,
pick few questions from here.
yes.
I will have to go on the top. There are so many.
No, just be very brief. Whatever is important, you touch upon. There may be comment some of these.
I'll drop the link here right after this conversation. Don't worry about the links.
We are already a little bit over time, so let's take another 5 minutes because this is an endless conversation.
Yeah, this is
And-
actually So I think you guys can ask question in the chat window. There are so many introductory messages. And
Then
people are
just if there
taking
is
their time.
some serious question, you can respond only.
There is a question by
Yeah, please.
cardiac sonographer in Canada saying, how can we use it in echo?
How you guys use what? The LLM, the AI?
The LLM, I think she's talking about at present, I'm a cardiac sonographer in Canada. How can we use it in echo?
Well, the overall
AI.
system. Yeah, let's talk. There are two things if you are talking about echo. One is the deep learning where we are, just like biopsy, we are scanning the images and training the models, and then we are labeling those images, whatever the data they are collecting, feeding that data to the models and getting it predicted and getting it, the AI, the magic, seeing the AI magic there. So for echo, there is something that we are working on, but if they really want to do the work, first thing they have to do is to preserve the data and start training the model or somewhere like this. In biopsy, I can relate it. We are using it by using deep learning, scanning the images, labeling it, and then predicting the exact on the image exact disease or something. But these are the long sessions that how we can do that. Let me tell you, these are the questions that you see the most, that how we can use AI in this field, how we can use AI in that field. In itself, it's a big question where we have to do the research, understand the data, their standard operating procedure, what they're doing, how they are doing. But at the end of the day, keep two things in mind. Let me generalize for all those people who are just going to say how we can use AI in our field. Number one, equip yourself with the basic information of AI, model, training, and all that stuff. You need to understand. Until you understand the concept of training, the model, the prediction, the suggestion, your brain won't produce any ideas. You'll keep asking this question, what I can do, what I can do. You go and grab that very basic knowledge. I don't want to, be here, but there's one video I recorded. It's 7 to 8 minutes. In the span of 7 to 8 minutes, I can teach you all this concept. There's a video called training, testing, and how this works. And I don't have 7 minutes, otherwise I can repeat that concept again. That's the first step. The second step is that to preserve your data. The third step is that get those models ready, and then from there onward, it's all conventional development. It's all conventional. No software can come into the production with 100% of the AI. It's 30-20% of the AI. Then we have 70% of conventional development. But these are the three basic rules.
We talked about data in the current clinical settings, especially in Pakistan. And so ideally, when you start thinking in terms of how not to waste data, because that thought of yours is sticking to my mind again and again. And how does one convert data of 1 million patients into a more usable format? And I'm not talking about data mining. I'm just trying to think in terms of if it's in an SQL format, or if it's hosted somewhere on Amazon.com. So how does that in what format, what language, what database should it be so that AI can start utilizing it?
It's a beautiful question. Honestly speaking, I'm just going from one institute to another and telling them. Actually, it has nothing to do with the database. It has nothing to do with the technology, the server, the computer language, the programming language. No, absolutely not. The first thing is the schema. What we call schema in technical is that the structure of the data, the way you are labeling the data is called schema. So let me tell you, let's imagine you have a huge cupboard in your home and you're placing your objects in a smaller racks within the cupboard. So if you don't structure it, if you don't label it, you stuff everything there, your data is safe. You can lock it and open it, but you won't be able to search it. There are no labelings. There is no structure. So when we are saving the data and getting the data from the external world and saving it in a database, then we need to design the database according to the AI understanding world, we call it proper labeling and interconnectivity of the data. If we're talking about one patient, if the information about that particular patient scattered in entire database, but this information is connected, interconnected, then the information is useful. If the information is there, but in bits and pieces and there is no connection, the data is useless. There is nothing to do with the technology.
So if unique identifiers are already in place and all the variables are present and the data is currently being used to create reports, do you think it's usable?
See, and now there is one, no, I have to go deep into it. What identifiers you are talking about, we call it, a record ID and all that stuff. Now, let me share, this is a very bold statement, but I'm a technical person. I do development, and 90%, 98% of the time, customer doesn't know how we are developing it, how we are actually fetching the data. Imagine you have the same cupboard with the unorganized structure, but your maid knows everything. So if your maid is able to get everything done for you, it doesn't mean the structure is right. It's a brute force algorithm. So we have to make sure the structure is right, not the maid is trained. Our programmers are so trained, they collect the pieces in a way, when you actually go and take that data out and feed it to the AI model say, what the hell is this? I cannot understand and relate that data. So it's like 5 to 10% of the time you get what you're saying.
Understood. Okay.
Well, this is amazing. This has been a tremendously amazing session, and I think we should get a promise from Mr. Irfan Malik that he will give us another session based on the question that will pass on to him, and that I have reserved a place with him to spend 2 weeks in his company to learn all these things. And there are so many, there are about 80 witnesses to that. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much indeed. And I will pass it on to Dr. Uzair to close the session. Please, Doctor.
Irfan, I think it's indeed a pleasure, but I am continuously watching you on YouTube. So I am also your follower. So I know how strong you are in, you are like what they say, Einstein. If you can teach a 4-year grade student, I think you know the art of communication. So you know this thing, your stretch is quite, wide. And that's why, we are here, the consultant who have an appetite for all of these things. And it was an amazing session. Collectively, on behalf of the APPNA MERIT team and everybody, we are thankful to you. We are also thankful to Professor Sarwat, because he is going to King Edward Medical College and giving a talk. Professor Nasir, who is a potential client at this point in time, sitting on a huge data, really, on a tray of data, and we need to make it useful. And Professor Akhtar Hamid, who is having a great taste for all of these things. He has been discussing with me about the BART like 5-6 years ago, and he did some few here and there tweaking. And the technical team from the APPNA MERIT, we are thankful to them. And the most important of all of our participants, I could see the people from Peshawar Institute of Cardiology, and they are sharing their sentiment, how phenomenal this is altogether, and from many other. So once again, Irfan, we are really grateful for your time. I know how busy you are, but of course we made it. And now I think we are formalizing another request for a future session, definitely. And maybe we can invite you in Pakistan as well. So these are the sentiment, true sentiment, and the compliment to you, to all of your activity. Once again, thanks to everybody who participated in any capacity, and hope to see you after a couple of weeks' time with the simulation model in medical treatment from SICKIT, the next speaker is. Thank you very much, everybody, once again, and all the best, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you all.